What's up, people? Welcome to a very special edition of the Eastern Lariat. I'm your host, Dylan Fox. Always on. This episode is going to be a good treat for all of the listeners out there who are not subscribed to the Eastern Lariat Patreon, patreon.com/Eastern Lariat to be specific, because I am joined by the man who has covered the entirety of the 5-star Grand Prix 2024 from Stardom, and all the way from Norway. He's a returning guest to the show. My co-host on my other show that I do, the Dramatic Dream Dragons, talking about DDT and Dragon Gate. He's all the way from Norway, Sondre Bjorn.
Hi. We are back. Another tournament has come around, and I feel like our feelings are pretty much the same as it was last year. Confusion, mild disappointment, but also there was some good stuff, at least.
A good
because
way.
I feel like that is how we felt last year as well.
Yeah, last year was a whole other... I think that tournament, the vibe around the company... it's tough because last year was so negative. I felt like, at least for me, like things were really not going in a way I liked at all. Like up and down around the company last year. I think there's more reason for optimism this year, actually. Like, as crazy as this tournament may have been and as weird as a lot of stuff has happened, I think I have a little less negative. I wouldn't say positive, but I'm much less negative on it this year. Like, because last year was such a downer. That final match was such a, like, wet fart. Like, I would argue, and everything. Like, this year, it was an unexpected winner, but I didn't think it came across nearly as badly as last year. And the tournament itself, it was just random. Like, there was no rhyme or reason. I would highly recommend, just for comedy's sake, I would say, to subscribe to the Patreon, purely to listen to our preview show that we did for the tournament, which was as much like last year, just completely off the rails with our predictions. And if you go back and look at them, we all lost. Like, no good predictions were had. But even on that show, if you remember, and the Patreon subscribers listening will know this, I said multiple times, I think nearly every show we did, you would be really hyped about something and like really confident about a prediction or something like that.
Or I would be speculating on some way the story could be leading.
And I would always say, you can't predict anything. Like, I have, and I think that's the thing. Last year, when things went south, I was very disappointed because I expected better based on 2022 compared to where they were then. This year, I really had no emotional attachment. I was like, this company's already kind of off the rails, so anything they do wouldn't really surprise me that much. And that's kind of how it happened. Like, you can say what you want about it, the winner being surprising, but I just thought, like, oh, well, okay. Like, you could talk yourself into this if you want. Like, that's kind of how it was. Last year, there were so many moments throughout the entirety of last year. I was just like, man, what are they doing? like, how did we get to this terrible point? This year, it's just like, oh, okay, another crazy move. like this doesn't make any sense, but whatever. So a lot there. We'll kind of give our retrospective of the tournament at the end. But first, we will briefly talk about the end of the line of the tournament. First of all, the semifinal or quarterfinal shows from Shinjuku Face, a huge building here, a prestigious building, to have it here. A very good number of 508 fans, to be fair.
Hey, this was the best crowd for the entire GP.
Yeah, this was like the best crowd. This was the best crowd for Stardom in general this whole year.
Yeah.
One of the best shows, to be honest with you. We don't have to go blow for blow with the matches, but to me,
Yeah. For me, I just want to say this. This was the best night of the 5-star for me.
It was.
I thought this was great top to bottom.
Every match delivered. The first one was the 3-way match, which I really questioned the booking of how they did this with the double you had to win 2 in one night, which it kind of made sense for Hanan, but I didn't like that they did both of them at the same time, but whatever. They did the triple threat match, Azumi, Meisera, and Inaba. You knew it was going to be good, like overall. They did it in weird ways where it was like a 2 out of 3 type of deal.
The rule was you had to beat both, but you could only, it was only like a gauntlet. It was kind of like a gauntlet match, because you had to beat both to be eliminated. So Asumi could beat Inaba, but then get eliminated by Meisera, and then pinned by Meisera, who comes in after her, and then Asumi could beat Meisera, and then Inaba would get back into the match. It was very convoluted, and I thought it was a bit weird to figure out, but I thought the execution was pretty good.
Yeah, the wrestling was good, and it put over Azumi.
Yeah.
Like, May beat Azumi almost right away. It was like 1 minute in or something, or 2 minutes in. 2 minutes and 39 seconds, according to Cage Match. Inaba then beat Sarah. That brought Azumi back in. Azumi beat Inaba, and then Azumi beat Sarah at the end. So, yeah, it was convoluted, but it was fine. It was clear that these matches were just to, like, put the ones over that won, pretty much. And make them look stronger, even though it wasn't logical.
It was very high speed.
Oh, yeah, they all worked great. We knew that already between their matches earlier in the tournament. They all work well together. Hanan beat Suzu in the Blue Stars B match, and Hanan won. It was good, like a really good match. The crowd was really into it. I thought that, they had a really good. It wasn't as like dynamic as some of the other matches, but I thought that they did a good job of having a good, like, hard hitting type of match here. It was good stuff, and Hanan got put over well.
Yeah. This match was kind of set up earlier in the tournament where they went to the count out draw on the opening night.
Yeah.
And you could see that Hanan was very nervous going into this match. I think because she was told that she would be going over, and you could see her nerves. Her nerves got the better of her for some parts of this match.
Yeah. You had Iwatani and Natsupoi in the quarterfinal match, which is really good.
Yep. Two great wrestlers.
Yeah, like Poi to me was one of the best of the tournament. We'll get to our review of everybody's tournament at the end here. But great, really strong match here. This is when things really picked up, to be honest. The last 4 matches were all like really good, I would say. Tall Saya and Starlight, great match, like best of the tournament for Tall Saya, and arguably the best for Starlight, who she's another one that's right up there to me as an MVP candidate, in my opinion. Really found herself even more than usual in this tournament. And Tall Saya, she started off so rocky, but
yeah,
she really found herself here.
Oh, this was amazing. I adore this match. I think it's one of the best matches of the tournament. I really, really enjoyed seeing the evolution of the wrestlers and how far Saya has come from the awful Sarah match at the opener.
Yeah. And then the Tekla match was like one of the worst of the tournament.
Yeah. I'm sorry, by the way. I have some work outside right now.
Yeah, I was wondering what that was going on there. I thought you were just moving a chair around or something. Like, while you were recording.
No, I think someone above me is drilling.
Okay. Well, ignore that, people. Like I said, Sondre and his busy people getting work done up there.
Yeah, I'll just mute and unmute myself.
Oh, wow, you muted it very fast there. I appreciated that there. But anyway, Tall Side Starlight, great match. Well worth your time to watch for sure. Hanan Shuri, another good match. I personally kind of figured that she was going to win because it's like, well, what's the point of even doing like this stupid, determination match if somebody wasn't going to get the big rub? And I figured it would be her. And Shuri hasn't really done that much this year, so I figured, okay, this makes perfect sense. Match was good. Shuri's always great. Like we already know what she can always do. She's like a great gatekeeper type of flair in this role, and Hanan continues her big push this year.
Yeah, I'm really like they switched what we thought Miyu Amasaki was gonna do on the final night of the block play to what Hanan did on this show. Like we all thought Miyu Amasaki was gonna spoil Shuri, but it ended up being Hanan, and I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, Shuri got to advance, so she still looks like a legit threat, so to speak. So no problem with this whatsoever. Then Maika and Azumi. This one I thought had more drama than the prior match for sure. Because I thought you really believed that Azumi could win here. And I thought they wrestled really good. It wasn't anything too like that dynamic or convoluted or special. But what they did was executed very well, and I thought it was a really strong main event and way to end the show.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking loss for Azumi.
As we kind of said on the Patreon, very good that Azumi finally has been given the opportunity to be a threat in this tournament.
That is true. There's no doubt this was her best run in Stardom so far that she had, and they put her in the main event spot. Did some good stuff. We have to give everybody some props for that. And I just wish that, hopefully one day she can get there to where she's a finalist, in that big spot, because she deserves it so much. Just a fantastic performer up and down. But after this show, I will say, going into the final show, what was kind of your hype level for this? After we've been through this whole crazy ass tournament, they have the red belt match on here. What were your feelings heading into the tournament or the tournament final?
I was worried because I was rooting for Mayu Utano to win the entire thing in the end. But I was really feeling that they were going to go with Maika. And from the start of the tournament, before the tournament even got started, I said Maika is the most boring choice. And I stick by that.
You also thought she was the champion heading into the tournament, to be fair.
True.
Which would have been even more boring if she was already the champion. But yeah.
She's already Kento Miyahara. She can't be Kaito as well.
Maika Miyahara here. You just found out that Kaito won the tournament because I told you before the show started. You didn't even know he was in the final. Yeah. You don't care about Noah. Me and Stringer are going to talk about Noah later in the week, guys. By the way, we're going to do another show talking about this. And we'll see if Stringer watched this. I know he tried to tune into the tournament. If he has any thoughts, hopefully he shares them with us about all of this. But we'll definitely talk about Noah and a little bit about All Japan as well. Probably. We'll see what happens. And who knows what can happen in a matter of a few days in the world of Japanese pro wrestling, as we all know. But regardless, the final show from Musashino Forest Sport Plaza.
How was your feelings going into the final show?
Oh, just like I said, I really had no feelings whatsoever. Like, to be honest, I was just like, oh, well, we'll see what stupid stuff they do here on the final. If you asked me, I thought that Mayu would win, but I also thought that Tosaya might win. I wasn't really pegging Maika to do it, but I thought it would be either Mayu or Saya, but that's okay.
Once after the main event in Shinjuku, it just the whole she went undefeated through the entire thing. This might be their chance to crown her officially as the new ace. by having her go undefeated through a tournament and win the tournament, which is boring to me. But that gave me the like really big feeling that she was winning on Saturday, and I ended up being right.
I suppose so. Like I said, I just figured, well, I figured, well, they probably wouldn't have her just go undefeated. That's really rare, but hey, like I said, we'll talk about it after the final. Pretty much.
Yeah.
So the final show. Like I said, we got a lot of matches on here that we can talk about. Did you watch the whole show, Sondre?
I did.
Did you even watch Waka's match with Rian?
I did not watch that, but I did watch the entire show from let's see, from Hazuki and Koguma versus Aya Sakura and Sakura.
Yeah,
that was the first match I watched on the show.
It was nice to see FWC together.
Yes.
What do you think of the youngsters?
I really like Sayaka Kuwara.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I like them both, but Sayaka shows more of the two.
Yeah,
I would say.
We like to call them the cosmic rookies.
Indeed.
Because that's what they are. And they always team together. I like that they have. I like that Cosmic Angels has this like rookie team.
And yeah, they're like the junior members. They're kind of like the idol group of theirs. So yeah, it makes perfect sense. Then you had Micah versus Mayu kicking things off with the tournament matches. Yep. Yeah, so yes, that's right. We'd have the 2 semifinals and the final, as well as 2 title matches on the show. That was kind of like the drawing card on here. The future Stardom match and the red belt match on here. But you have Micah versus Mayu Iwatani. It's got a 7.65 rating on Cage Match as we record here, so very popular amongst the inmates. So shout out to all the inmates out there. What'd you think of this to start things off?
Crushed my heart, but I expected it to be crushed, to be fair. No, I loved it. I thought this was a great semifinal. Mostly because I'm really into Mayu, and like I was sitting there rooting for her, even though I knew that Michael was winning, kind of in the back of my head. And I thought the work they did was really good.
Yeah, I thought they wrestled very well together. I liked what they did here. It really felt like a main event match even early on in the card. I thought they worked really well together. Iwatani's another one of these wrestlers that she's just so talented that everybody already knows how great she is. I think sometimes that holds her back when you look at the fan base in terms of really looking at her as any kind of MVP type of player, just because we always expect her to do so great. But she just continues to deliver every match, every time out. I thought she had a great tournament overall. And Micah, say what you want about her being boring. I thought she wrestled well throughout the tournament.
It's not her wrestling that's boring for me. I need to clarify that. I need to clarify it. Micah, I do not find boring in the wrestling sense. I find her boring as a character. I find her boring as a top star. She is a great professional wrestler. I do not deny that. I just find her really boring to follow, to be a fan of, and to have at the top of your cards.
But look at what they've done with her with the new faction this year. New faction.
I hate that faction.
EXV.
It's such a bad faction.
Well, Mina's gone now, so rumor has it she's moved to the U.S. So now what? Now what is that group now?
Yeah, exactly.
But hey, listen, new faction, new pants. What more do you want from her? It was a really good match.
It was a really good match. It was that.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot better than the other semifinal actually. Tall Sai and Hanan.
Yeah,
I thought this
yeah.
one was like, it's like you knew Saya was gonna
So
win. Like,
the thing with this final night is that on on the quarterfinal night, we saw Saya's potential as this heel wrestler now.
yeah,
Like that, there you saw her be a heel, but also saw her do like great wrestling. And then I feel like they swerved us back to the start of her tournament here on the final night because she was back to doing, I don't know, bad heel work, having miscommunication spots, uh, just being weird. And something was very off with this match.
well, I'll tell you one thing, Sondre. The unofficial running buddy to
Oh
our
no. Oh
5-star
no.
coverage, Suzuki-gun, has chimed in saying he enjoyed this match quite a bit. Hanan fought back the best she could. Best of all was Saya's expressions and the end. I enjoyed this. 7 out of 10. So giving praise to his mortal enemy, Hanan, here.
Oh no.
Unlike
Yeah.
you, Sondre, fake fan alert.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that great either. To be honest, I'm kind of with you.
It is funny though, because after this match, I immediately posted the change team picture in the Discord because I changed my team to root for Saya Kamitani to win the final. Even
No
though I didn't
loyalty.
like her in this match, I immediately after this match ended, I changed my team over to Saya because I did not want to see Michael win.
No loyalty whatsoever.
I have now changed my team back. I am no longer on Team Zion.
Okay, that's good to know. Very important information. Setting the record straight right here on the Eastern Area.
I was on Team Saya Komitani for 2 hours.
Okay, well,
And then I left.
some people are lifelong fans of the Phoenix Queen, and you're not following in their footsteps.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Ash.
Fraud watch, like heavily alert right now. Anna Jay, are you on her team?
No.
She won over Momokoko. Why don't they push?
Never
Momokoko?
have this woman back.
We'll talk
Yeah.
about her tournament at the end.
Yeah, Momokoko
She's good.
comes out with a new theme, new look, and gets fed to Anna Jay
Pointless match.
in a pointless match. Ugh,
I think Tony
Poor-
Khan pulled some political stroke on this one.
poor
He's-
Tomomo.
Anna Jay, he saw like, hey, you need to give her a win on the night out. You could put whoever you want against her as long as they lose. Stardom said, we got just the person to do the job here. Poor Momokoko. Deserves better. Very talented wrestler.
Yes.
In all seriousness. The next match was
I
Xena.
wish she had been in the tournament.
Yeah, me
She
too.
would have been better than Anna Jay.
Well, obviously. Like I said, that was a political maneuvering to get Anna Jay over. But whatever. We'll talk about her tournament later, like I said. Saya Ida versus Xena. This was a very pointless match, but it was pretty good.
This served the purpose of Cena challenging for the high speed.
That's true.
She took the mic after the match and challenged for the high speed. And I thought the work they did was great in this match.
Yeah, it was good. I liked it. Big fan. I don't know why Xena's going for the high speed, but it's fine.
She has been wrestling kind of more high speed during the tournament.
She's like one of the most power wrestlers.
Yeah, but really quick.
This like the high speed is now like the X Division title. Like
Yes.
no weight limits, no limits is now the high speed version. Doesn't matter.
As
but
long
hey,
as you do your moves fast.
that's true. And again, I don't know. She's trying, but remember, this is a power wrestler, up
Yeah.
and down. But regardless, it's fine. I'm sure the match will be really good. Again, we'll talk about her tournament. Really big fan of her tournament. I just her in general, but I just a very strange decision. But whatever. It's Okada. It's Stardom. Go for it. Who cares?
Yeah.
Whatever. Like, we had a big multi-person tag match. Neo Genesis versus a bunch of people. God's Eye. You had Shuri, Saki Kashima, Rani Yagami, Lady C, and Risa Sera was there too.
Unofficial member.
Yeah, yeah.
Honorary member.
But in the end, Yagami took the fall. They gave Kid a win here to end her very, very good tournament.
Yeah.
It was fine.
I thought this was a really good like faction match. I haven't really seen that much of Neo Genesis work together as a unit, and I think them as a unit, like here, showed me way more than EXV has ever shown me.
Well, look at the talent level in Neo Genesis is much higher than.
Yeah, I
you know.
Yeah, that's true. But like this was a great establishing match for Neo Genesis for me.
Yeah, it's like Azumi, Kid, Suzu, May. That's like an all-star team, and Miyu's done a fine job in her role in the tournament as well.
Yeah. Yeah, but I was really impressed of Neo Genesis likes already chemistry as a unit. Like I'm glad that they're now getting, because they're kind of formed right before this tournament started.
Yeah.
So we didn't get to see that many of like multi-woman tags with them.
Like they should have maybe balanced those two groups out a little bit. Like EXV should have had one of these people, like and maybe switch Waka to this one to balance it out.
Ugh.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, like, look at that
Waka
group.
doesn't fit, but Waka doesn't fit with this one. Waka is old compared to these guys.
Well, that's true. Yeah. Well, Hanako then.
Yeah.
There you go. But still, like I said, that whole faction of EXV is just a weird group. Like they don't fit together.
Yeah, none. Yeah, because it's a bad group.
Maybe Hanako and Xena could be a good team.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fine. The next one was a Cosmic Angels match. It was Poi, Ano, Mizumori beat the hate team of Konami, Ruaka, and Tekla.
Okay, so this match I did not watch. I went and made food. I immediately, when I saw Tekla on my screen, I went and made food.
Yeah, you missed out. Mizumori got the win.
Finally.
It should have been during the tournament, but yeah, she pinned Ruaka here. Big win, which again also should have happened during the tournament, but whatever. It was fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Just a typical hate match.
Yeah.
Then we got to the Future of Stardom title match. Battle of the Sisters here. Rina versus Hina here.
Yeah.
Rina continues her title reign. And I know you love this match a lot, so feel free to speak your heart and speak your mind.
See, I have followed these three sisters their entire career. That is something I'm very proud of. I love to see how far they have come. So when they show how far they have come and do it in such an intense match as this, I just get so happy, and I enjoy it so much. I thought like what they did here was full of passion. It was full of like very very good storytelling between these two. The cuts they did to Hanan, who was almost in tears watching her little sisters, was so good. Like I thought the entire thing was just emotional, well worked, and really great for the two very young wrestlers who haven't done wrestling full time, even though they have wrestled for a long time. But they haven't they debuted in 2018, but they haven't wrestled every single a full schedule since 2018. That's something a lot of people forget with these two.
Yeah, they're still in school, so
yeah,
like they can't do the full-time stuff.
What did you think?
It was good. Like I liked it. I thought it was really well done how they had Han on there, and especially at the end when she like gave Rena props for breaking her own record. Like I thought that was really nice. Overall, like that added more stakes to the match. Um, I thought Hina showed a lot of great, fire trying to get this title and almost fight for her and Hanan's record as well
Yeah.
at the same time. I thought that was really cool. I thought they had really good chemistry together with each other, and it was a good match. It's for me, if you just look at the wrestling, it's not like I was like going crazy over it or anything, but I thought it was a well done Future of Stardom match in a long line of them uh, for Rena. And it's clear that she has a very bright future here. And we'll see. It's just going to be interesting to see where they go. Hanan's got the big singles rub right now. Maybe in a few years, Rena or maybe even Hina can really be on that level as well. It gives you years of storyline possibilities, but for a one-off match, definitely worth watching.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
I would go as far as to say that this was my favorite match on the show, and one of my favorite matches of the entire tour.
Yeah. It's interesting to say the least. I would say. Um, I would say probably the Mayu and Micah match was my favorite. Um, but it was good. Like definitely worth watching for sure. I didn't have anything about that in terms of my heart, but in terms of just watching it as a match, I thought it was really good. One of the better matches for both girls so far in their shortish careers.
Yeah.
And then we had not one of the best matches in either of these people's careers. Next, we had the World of Stardom title here. I think that
It went too long.
well, that obviously, but it's important to mention the build up to this. So Tom Nakano went winless in her tournament here, and when somebody loses all of their matches in a row, it obviously means they're ready for a title shot, a world title match. Taking on Natsuko Tora in her first defense.
Well, on night 3, when Tom had been eliminated, because she had wrestled like no, it was night 4. I mean, in Korakuen, that was when Tora came out and nominated Tom as a challenger, because Tora wanted to defend her title on the final night because she wouldn't be working the entire tour or the 5-star in general. So she thought she could defend it at the final night, and she nominated Tom on the day she got eliminated.
Yeah, and then Tom just lost all her matches after
Yes.
that as well. She lost to everybody, and so since she's lost to everybody, it means she needs to get a red belt match here, and it means she needs to win the red belt here in a match that was so bad. I thought the first part of the match was so lame. Just them
Yeah.
doing normal wrestling. They were so slow paced. They did a part where Nakano was kind of like going after the leg for some reason of Natsuko Tora, and then they just kind of like abandoned that, and they were like, okay, Tora's on top now, and now we get all the hate stuff that's been in all their matches, like a bunch of stuff we've seen a million times, and then Cosmic Angels comes out to save the day, and Nakano just gets everything thrown at her. She goes into you said it when we were talking before the show. You said very John Cena-esque here for Tom Nakano.
Yep. It was very John Cena Nexus. John Cena and the WWE Home Army versus the Nexus. It was so like anyone that watched Raw in 2010 will know what I'm talking about.
And Bret Hart was on his team at first.
Yeah. Like you can say that Saori Anou was the Bret Hart part of this match because she came from commentary. She ran in just when they needed her.
Does that mean she's going to be the GM of Stardom next?
Oh shit. Hey, were you expecting a turn from Anu when she ran out of commentary?
No, I
Okay.
thought Tom
Yeah.
was sure winning the belt.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would be a stunner to me if anything happened that didn't happen. You know, the only part that was surprising was just how much the first half of the match dragged. Like they wasted all this
Yeah.
time, that stuff that didn't matter at all. Like all of the work in the first part didn't matter at all to the
I
overall.
will say that I did get really into the last 10 minutes, mostly because of the crowd. I thought the crowd was great for this.
I thought they were kind of like it. Well, I will say this: I'm normally not a big fan of the hate stuff, but that stuff kind of woke the crowd up because I thought they were like not
Yeah,
in
it's
this
like
match at
House of
all.
Torture. It's like House of Torture. Like the biggest pops in New Japan happen when the baby faces fight against the House of Torture and overcome them, right?
Sometimes. But yeah, this match sucked. Like, let's just be nice about it. I won't say it was the worst match of the year, but it was bad.
I thought it had a good and last part. I honestly thought the last half of it was pretty good.
I think,
And
yeah.
yeah, I totally agree with you. Like the first 15 minutes of this match it's like sleep watching. It's
And
like
it didn't
why
matter to,
yeah. Yeah, it didn't
but
matter at all.
yeah, like it was just total wasting time. Like,
Yes.
I didn't play into the finish at all. They didn't even work very good together. I mean, it's Tora, so you have to kind of lower your expectations somewhat for that. Um, but yeah, like I don't know. I don't get any of this from a booking
So
standpoint.
booking standpoint, last year Tom got injured wrestling Tora for the red belt, and she had to vacate the red belt for that. Uh, I don't know if the win against Tora is a revenge for getting hurt when it's your own fault that you got hurt because you tried to do a brainbuster. But like the entire thing, I don't understand why they needed to do this. Like, is it really that are they really that big of a feud that they needed to that they absolutely needed to do this so fast?
And how they
And
got there.
yeah, and how they got there.
Yeah, like I mean, there was no hype for this match for me, like coming in on an 0-6 run for Tom Nakano. Um, I think if they had gotten to this match by, let's say Tom's alive on the last night, and she's facing a hate wrestler, and Tora cost her the match, and that eliminates Nakano on the last night of block play, and that leads to a huge brawl, and then that leads to the title match here. I think that would have worked a lot better and been a lot more logical than having her lose every single match and then win the title.
Yeah.
That just makes everything look cheesy. Even Micah said it afterwards that like, it's kind of weird. Like how this worked. Like I won every match and she lost all her matches and now we're fighting. It's just weird.
Yeah.
And she's right. Like it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make me happy about any of this title stuff.
No.
The Tora reign was pointless. I don't know. Maybe it was like a gold watch kind of. Like maybe she's on her way out. I've seen that speculated a lot. That she may be winding things down, and they gave her a title just out of respect. But which I mean, fine, I guess. And we'll talk about where they go from here, considering how the tournament played out. But
Yeah.
Tom Nakano, red belt, your favorite, the champ now.
Yay. Yeah. Let's talk about the final.
That's right, Micah and Saya Kamatani here, the Phoenix Queen.
Okay, never mind. I have to say it again. I hate I hate that the times Tom has won this belt, it has been both times under so bad circumstances.
Yeah, like just illogical booking like up and down here for her, but
Yeah.
maybe it'll go better. Maybe the title reign will go better this time than last year's.
Well, we don't know. It can
Maybe,
easily end in 2 weeks.
maybe. I said, I said maybe. There, I
Yeah.
didn't say it will.
Yeah.
But you are right. Who knows what could happen right now in Stardom? That's been my motto this whole tournament: is you cannot predict anything.
Yeah.
But we know what's going to happen is that Maika will be getting a red belt title shot because she beat Saya Kamatani in the final in this long ass final match. It's got a good rating on Cage Match. It's got a 8.00 rating. Suzuki would like it.
This is the worst final of the 5-star GP I've seen since I started watching. I started watching in 2018. My first 5-star GP was in 2018. The final there was Mayu and Utami. I have enjoyed all of the finals up until this one. I thought Suzu and Maika last year was a really good match. Not as great as the two previous years, but I thought it was much better than this year's final.
I think like last year was like it was worked okay, but so flat and not interesting to me.
This was also flat.
Well, this one is just too long. Like to me, I think they had they closed it out like good, but it took so much to get there that I was not really that interested in it by the end either. To be honest,
I almost fell asleep during this match. I thought it was so boring.
Everyone likes it on Cage Match anyway. Like it's got all good ratings. I thought that, like I said, I really thought they brought it home like good at the end.
Yeah, they did. They did.
But to me, I don't think that like whatever they were going for with this heel Saya character, her wrestling has been, again, she started off really poorly, but she kind of got under control with her wrestling by the end. Her character, though, I'm still really skeptical of as a heel, to be honest. I think that she's playing this character, and it's one of those things where you kind of have to try to believe that this is any kind of real version of her, pretty much, I would say. I don't know. I'm not really into the character. The wrestling by the end felt worthy for this kind of match. It reminded me of kind of some of the old like Io and Mayu matches, where it was just like, all right, like it's our showdown moment. We're throwing bombs now. Like they had all kinds of big moves. You had that big Michinoku driver from the top rope that Micah hit. It's like we're gonna throw it all out here to win the match. And I thought that was really the match really picked up, and I thought everybody was into it. As a match though, again, just too long, and Kamatani's heel work is questionable to me.
But like, I don't know what was different between the night the quarterfinal was and this show. But Saya was worse on this show.
Shinjuku face.
Yeah, I guess. Shinjuku face is magic. Maybe that's why we can't connect with Saya's heel character. It doesn't fit big venues. It fits small venues like Shinjuku face.
That's a good point.
Maybe Saya Kamitani, maybe this version of Saya Kamitani is actually perfectly made for Oz Academy.
I don't know about that. Didn't you say they were trying to like break up, like Ozaki-gun?
Ozaki-gun?
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yes, tragic moves there going on in Oz Academy right now. But no, I mean that's that wave work that she got going on earlier in the year.
Oh yeah, true. She's challenging for the wave title. That's true. She won the Catch the Wave.
That's where she learned. That's where she grew into where she's at now. But yeah, I'm definitely lower on this than the inmates.
Yeah.
But I thought it was okay. Again, I thought this was more satisfying than last year. And as a match, I think I'd probably put them not that dissimilar. Maybe last year's was a little better, but I didn't think last year's was a great shakes personally.
No.
So that's about. I think this is a more satisfying conclusion, but as a match, it's nothing I'll ever watch again. Let's put it that way. At 27 and a half minutes, I mean,
Yeah.
they could have cut a lot of that out, in my
But
opinion.
see, even last year's, I showed to casual friends of mine who are casual fans of wrestling, and they liked last year's final. I don't think I will want to show them this. And
No, this match wouldn't work for any casual fan. I think there's too much stuff
yeah,
with Saya, the story, and all that crap.
and that breaks the streak of me showing the 5-star final for every year since 2019 to my casual friends.
See, you weren't around when Tessa was at the finals of the 5-star Grand Prix.
That was right before I came in.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I lived through that era.
See, that is why I'm such a big Utami fan, because my first GP was the one where she went to the final first.
Yeah, she was still very new. When
Yeah.
that happened? Which is that
And
final
like
was a
that
lot better.
tournament, yeah, that tournament made me a fan of her.
She's good. Like
Yeah.
there's no hate on Utami.
Yeah, but like no. But I just wanted to mention that forever fan of her because of that first GP I watched.
Yeah, so Utami, very, very good. We like her very, very much. You know.
Yeah. So Micah will be not challenging at Sumo Hall. She will be challenging Tom Nakano for the red belt.
Yes.
In 2 weeks on
Yes.
September 14th in Osaka Edion Arena #1.
Well,
how do you feel about that?
I don't mind it because I mean the tournament ended. Okay, so for example, like 2 years ago when Julia won the tournament, it was in October, and you could kind of build to the finals of the year a lot better than doing it at the start of September, I would say. So I don't mind them not holding off for that long. And I don't know about this matchup, like Micah versus Nakano. It tells a story somewhat. Like, you know, kind of like the uncrowned champion last year. Because remember, at the end of last year, the fans the fans were begging for Micah to win the tournament last year, and they didn't happen. You know, at the end. And I think that's another problem with this. Like, it felt like a year too late for her. Like, if they'd done it last year, it would have felt like an epic win. And here it felt like, oh, okay. You know, but again, Micah Miyahara with the flame pants, like the fire on the pants. You got the haircut. She proved that much like Kento is the big Hulk Hogan fan, Kento once again out Hoganed by Micah Hogan here. No, that does not work for me, brother. She looked at Okada. No losses. Refused to lay down for anybody. And who knows? Maybe she'll pull creative control on Tom in 2 weeks, and she'll have to get the belt back. Which would have to be about the stupidest way we could get there. Like, you'd go through 2 V0 title runs to get there.
Okay, so with Micah going undefeated through the tournament, winning the tournament, she is looking the strongest she has ever looked.
Tom's about to beat her.
And she's
not beating Tom. And that's the thing. Like, there's no way she's going to beat Tom. The only thing against her is that this company makes no sense. So anything could happen.
But this makes no sense. You build up you build her up like crazy, and then you crown a Red Belt champion who everyone
Loser Red Belt
who's like,
champion.
yeah, but who is also like one of the most over people in the company, and they are doing it 2 weeks later. That it's very short-sighted.
I'll have to see. Like, we'll figure that out
Like,
when they announce the Sumo Hall main event. Like, whatever that is, because I
but
think there are a number of matches that will be bigger matches
it,
than this.
yeah. There's still a chance for our Mayu and Tom winner takes all match.
Triple Crown Tom, with you in the building. He's
Yeah,
going to Japan at the end of the year, people. He will be at that show, at the Sumo Hall show.
yeah. So there is like the story that Micah, that Tom was supposed to be the Red Belt champion when Micah won it last year. Like Micah stepped in. Well, she won a qualifying tournament to get into that match with Suzu, but she stepped in to the role that Tom was going to have with Suzu. So Micah's title reign was kind of a paper title reign, kind of, you can say. And Tom kept dodging her for the entirety of her reign, even though Micah always asked for a match. Kind of tried to nominate Tom. So that is the story. But it's weird that if Micah is winning back the belt now, we will basically reset to where we were at the start of the summer. If we will have had two V0 red belt reigns that ended up not meaning anything because they ended up back on Micah. Or they can have Tom win, and then Micah's big 5-star is like, okay, that's a cool thing you did, but you lost in the end. I guess they can go time limit draw.
We did see a few of those in the tournament. To be
Both
fair,
both these matches went 30, almost 30 minutes. The red belt is 30 minutes, not 60.
I think the logical conclusion is that just Nakano wins.
Yeah, that is the logical conclusion.
But anything can happen.
Yeah. Very
They need
confusing. Yeah.
they need to have a match for Sumo Hall though.
Yeah.
And we can presume that Tom will be in that match. That's really as far as I can think about that. There
Yeah.
really is no logic behind a lot of these moves, it seems like. But it's been that way the whole time. But that said, um, the
Yeah.
company doesn't feel, like I said last year, like the company felt like it was just on a huge downswing, like to me.
Yeah. I mean,
This
it turned out it was a lot of backstage problems throughout the entirety of last year. So
and this year, I don't really get that vibe. I think they're actually
yeah,
doing all right, like in terms of the fan base, the
yeah,
native
it
fans.
just feels kind of like short-based booking. Um,
Well, the stuff with Tom is just terrible. Like
yeah,
going winless and then winning the belt, that's just bad. Like no matter how you put it. But it's also not boring, at least. Which last year I thought like all of the champions were boring. like throughout the year.
yeah,
I don't like I said there were almost no interesting stories last year. The best one was Mizumori trying to get into Cosmic Angels, like in 2023. Here, at least you have stuff going on, and a lot of new people getting elevated and
yeah,
getting big spots.
yeah,
So I definitely think things are a lot more interesting this year than they were last year. I just wish that there was more like planning and thought put into stuff because it just seems like they have their ideas for who they want to be in big spots, and they get there in the most ridiculous ways possible, and
Yeah,
it makes
yeah,
for a really weird product, I would say. But this
yeah.
tournament, of all the tournaments to me, like that we've seen this year, even going back to the Champion Carnival from All Japan, I know you haven't watched that much of the other ones, but for me, this 5-star Grand Prix was much easier to watch for me than
Oh yeah,
the G1 or the N1.
yeah. I mean, we've been saying that on the Patreon. All of these shows have been really easy to watch.
Yeah, I really have no
Like,
problem with the. Yeah.
yeah, the booking has confused us, but like the shows have been good. Like
For
a lot of the work has been good.
yeah, like I think that the time limit always helps. Like, and before the final, like none of these matches went overly long. They couldn't. Like, you got a lot of different stylistic people in there, where you had a lot of different types of wrestlers going on. The down part was so many hate wrestlers in because it's kind of the same shtick up and down the card a lot of the times. But like besides that, I think nearly everybody had chances to shine, and a lot of people, you know, took the ball and carried it to the goal line for a lot of cases. I think they did a great job, and a lot of the other tournaments were just, like I said, maybe even more logical in some ways, like the G1 and the N1. But I would say this one again, this was more interesting than the other tournaments. I would argue, even if it was so chaotic and goofy.
Yeah, yeah.
Like at least it wasn't so boring. Like where it was like, oh, like what's gonna happen A to B to C. Here it was a lot of stuff that didn't really make a lot of
So
logical
yeah,
sense, but yeah.
do you remember what we pretty much agreed on would be the worst result of the tournament before the tournament started?
Uh, your pick was Micah.
My pick was Micah, but it was also if Tora was still the champion.
Oh yeah.
It was going off the basis that Tora was still the champion at the end of the tournament.
My pick was
We
like if
at least
Saya,
didn't get
yeah, if
there.
Saya had won and then turned babyface
Yeah.
right away.
There was a lot of people. So you are not in these circles, but there was a lot of people who got mad when Tora lost because they thought,
I'm
oh, she
definitely not
just
in those
got a
circles.
V0, she just got a V0 run. What the hell? All of that kind of stuff. And I was there fighting for my life, saying, Tom winning is the positive result here, guys. That's the good result. And a lot of the like Tom just makes sense as the winner. It's still a better choice than Tora. I hate
Well,
to say
wrestling
it for
wise,
the Tora fans.
well, the only thing I'll say
Yeah,
about
but
that,
with Micah winning, it's still Tom is a much better winner than Tora.
well, I do agree, but the only thing I'll say about that, um, they spent all of this time, like, and all this effort, like you spent the whole summer basically killing Oedo Tai to build this new heel mega group hate,
Yeah,
and they failed twice in a row.
yeah,
like
and their leader is now the shortest reigning World of Stardom champion of all time.
yeah, and I mean, like I said, they didn't like Saya lost like back-to-back losses. The group feels like they've lost some steam
Yeah,
as a heel group. But to me, I don't. Me as a fan, like just what I like in wrestling, I don't like any of this. So
yeah.
I am shedding no tears over Tora losing. I don't think this group is interesting. I don't think Tora is a very effective heel, in my opinion. And especially not for my taste in wrestling. I'm not that interested in them. So it didn't matter to me really. and I have really no emotional attachment to anything right now in
Yeah.
this company. So it is what it is at the end of the day.
There were some records set on the show. As I said, Tora is the shortest reigning World of Stardom champion now of all time. Tom Nakano joins a very illustrious trio now of the World of Stardom champions who have won it twice. Mayu Iwatani and Io Shirai are the only other two that has done it, and Tom has joined that group now. Of course, if she would be facing Mayu, that is a very logical. Like Mayu wants to be the most winningest, like the one who has won the most times. If she would challenge Tom, and I mean Tom has a lot of challengers after this tournament. Also, this marks the 5th year in a row of a Donna Del Mondo member slash former Donna Del Mondo member, of course, being in the final of the 5-star. Starting in 2020, Himeka was the finalist, of course, as part of Donna Del Mondo. Shuri in 2021, Julia in 2022, Maika in 2023, and Maika again in 2024. So 5 years in a row of Donna Del Mondo members in the finals of the 5-star.
And right on the eve of the founder of Donna Del Mondo showing up at NXT.
Yeah.
And with very Def Rebel entrance music as she came out.
Yeah.
Not nearly as good as her Marigold and first started.
Yeah. Honestly, Dylan, before we sat down, I wasn't that positive on this show. But just talking with you has brought me. It was okay.
The wrestling was good for the most part.
Yeah, the wrestling was good, but
there was a lot I probably would have changed. But like I said, at least they're throwing stuff against the wall and trying different stuff. At least it's like you can't really predict anything, and that can make things kind of interesting, even if a lot of it doesn't make a ton of sense, like up and down. So I can't say I dislike this tournament. I wouldn't say it was great.
No.
But overall, I definitely would take it over last year's personally. Even if I think last year had better, like the top end matches, there was more quality there.
Yeah.
But the problem with that tournament is it lasted a long time with lots of spaces in between.
And a lot of injuries.
Yeah, like the booking there was not good, up and down, and there were a lot of injuries that impacted, obviously. So in general, I'm definitely a lot more positive coming out after this tournament. But again, there's definitely some improvements to be made. But for so far, right now, I think they're doing okay. Like I think it's working for now, but we'll see. I don't think it'll last. I think they need to tighten some things up before the end of the year. And I think in general, as far as Maika winning, my overall opinion on it will be dependent on what match they book for Sumo Hall, like for the red belt. If it's a big match, then I'll understand it.
What if this first match with Tom goes through the time limit and they have the rematch at Sumo Hall?
Well,
how would you feel about that?
No, I wouldn't like that at all. Like, I don't think that's a good idea.
Okay, so what is the best like option for Sumo Hall in your opinion?
I guess it would be Mayu.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I still think there are a lot of logical options at this point.
I mean, let's look at the tournament. Who has beaten her?
Everybody. Everybody in Red Stars beat. You've got 6 people that did that.
Yep.
Like, to me, it feels like they have to have something really weird or something really unexpected up their sleeves.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what that would be. Somebody making a return or, like some big free agent signing, somehow.
Or just Mayu.
That's That's the logical. I mean, I don't know if it'll be winner takes all. Like, in all honesty,
No.
I mean, maybe they'll unify the like the IWGP or whatever title into the red belt. Like, that's fine. I think that's the most likely outcome.
Yeah.
But with that said, overall, the tournament was what it was. You got a little bit more positivity heading into the tournament, so we like that. Let's talk about the tournament as a whole. We're going to run down everybody, and we'll give brief thoughts on everybody's tournament, what we thought of their run so far, as well as going over the standings one last time. So let's start it off with Red Stars A. Here, as the format of the tournament, if you guys didn't follow it, they broke it up into 4 blocks. Usually it's Red Stars and Blue Stars, but now they broke it up into Red Stars A and Red Stars B, and then Blue Stars A and Blue Stars B. So 4 different blocks there, both with red and blue colors. Red Stars A at the bottom, Yuna Mizumori. She's been somebody I was championing on the Patreon shows that we did.
Yeah.
I thought she really stepped up her game big here. There was some fun and comedy stuff in her run, but she mainly played to her strengths as an in-ring performer and decided, all right, like, I'm a beast now. And I thought they led to some really good hard-hitting matches. Mizumori wrestled good. She deserved way more than she got here. 0 points is ridiculous. I get it that she's not really a priority in terms of the booking, but hopefully this tournament opens some eyes, and maybe it did because she didn't get the win on the final of the multi-band tag. But she definitely deserves a lot of props. I thought she had a very good tournament. Was one of my favorite people. I won't say an MVP because she was often in the opening. Yeah, she was often in the opening second match. The first 2 matches on the card wasn't meant to have the match of the show, but she wrestled hard and did good in all of her matches. I really enjoyed her.
Yeah, I agree. I pretty much echoed everything you've always said of her tournament. Like I think we have agreed on like her the entire run. She had a great tournament. What is her match of the tournament?
To me, it had to be against Hazuki. That was one of my favorite matches in general in the tournament. I thought that match was like way over delivered. Once again, that was like one of the longer matches she had too. And they really got to have an all-out match. I thought it was a hell of a performance from Mizumori. Obviously, Hazuki's a great opponent, but that would be the match I would pick for her.
Yeah, I agree. I would also shout out the Manami match. I really like that one.
Yeah, that's right. Sendai girls represent.
Yeah.
What do you think of Ruaka's tournament? She had finished with 3 points, with a win over Mizumori and a time limit draw with Manami.
Yeah, I think she she didn't have anything that stood out. She had a normal Ruaka performance, and that is sadly disappointing. Of course, it's not that I guess it's not disappointing because I didn't really expect anything else.
Yeah.
But it's disappointing that she didn't get to prove why she should be in the tournament, because I felt like she didn't prove why she should be in the tournament.
Shout out New Japan commentator Walker Stewart, who put Ruaka over earlier in the tournament. Also, a hearty get well soon after what he posted on Twitter with his car accident troubles. Hopefully he's okay. After that, shout out big Walker Stewart. Big fan of your work in New Japan and your love of Ruaka. I cannot share his enthusiasm, however, after watching her tournament. I thought here's the thing. She was there to play a role as the heel underling to Tora, replacing her. And that's what she did. Like, no more, no less. They gave her a win at the end over Mizumori, but to me, there just wasn't a lot there overall, unfortunately, and she's really kind of stalled. She's somebody I I thought was okay earlier in her career, because she was in this tournament years ago. Even though she's still very young, she's only 20 years old. But I really think she stalled out in ring wise, and I think the gimmick also like you can only go so far, as we've seen with other performers as well. Monami from Sendai Girls, she finished with 5 points. She got wins over Mizumori, much like everybody, unfortunately. She beat Konami, and she had the draw with the Ruaka. What did you think of her tournament?
Pretty decent. Not as standout as I expected, but I thought she did a pretty solid job throughout the entire tournament. I thought her best match was on the opening night against Hazuki.
Yeah.
But I also thought the Natsupoi match was really good.
To me, she was fine, but not a standout, in my opinion. I thought she did okay.
Yeah.
And with her, like the block she was in, I thought she really could have had some bangers, but I don't think it ever really materialized. Even her best matches to me weren't too special.
Yeah.
If I had to pick one, I probably would pick the Poi match. But I thought her matches with Maika and Hazuki were both good. She was solid throughout, consistent, not bad by any means, but not somebody I was like, this was a big chance for her, and I don't think she fully took advantage of it, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah.
I take her tournament over Konami's though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Konami. Here's the thing. You just have to wonder, like, where's her heart at in this run right now? Because I don't think that she's really put all of herself into these matches like that we saw here. And again, the gimmick is limiting. Like, we have to admit that. But I also don't think she wrestled particularly special even on her own. There were others that did a lot better. She had wins over Ruaka, Hazuki, and Mizumori. But other than that, and she wasn't even booked to do anything special either. Maybe that's a part of it. The motivation just isn't there right now. She's kind of in this mid-card role that she's almost always been in and throughout her career. And I just thought I won't say disappointing because, again, the gimmick I knew was going to come into play and make me not like her matches. But I definitely think her wrestling could have been a lot better, personally.
Yeah. I pretty much agree with everything you said there. Konami had a really disappointing tournament.
Maybe one day she'll turn again.
Yep. She definitely likes turning.
Then we had Hazuki, somebody who should never turn. We like her at FWC too much. They must remain together forever. But she had wins over Manami, Ruaka, and Mizumori, as well as a time limit draw with Natsupoi the last night, which unfortunately eliminated her. She could have advanced with a win. But still, she was alive on the last day. They gave her pretty solid respect. And she was a hell of a wrestler. I thought she had a great performance throughout the tournament. She was constantly having people's best matches in her block. Definitely lots of, no question about her effort here. She just wrestled
always.
Really good. Yeah,
consistent Hazuki. Hazuki always is a consistently great worker in these tournaments. The Natsupoi match was one of my favorite matches of the tournament. I always am really behind Hazuki runs during these tournaments because I always think that here's the chance where she can finally pick up some points and get pushed a bit. Unfortunately, she didn't beat Natsupoi, so she won't have a Wonder of Stardom Championship match. Sadly. And she didn't beat Maika either because Maika went undefeated. So I don't know who Hazuki could challenge, but she had a good run.
Nobody. She'll be a tag worker going forward. But that's okay.
Oh.
Her wrestling's great. The match versus Maika was really good as well. Mizumori was probably my favorite match of hers, but I also like Maika was right up there. And the Poi match was not bad at all either. Very strong matches, like 3-match for her. One of the better 3-match series for any wrestler in the tournament. But I don't think, she just, that's the problem with Stardom sometimes. It's just a numbers game. There's so many talented people that sometimes people get left out. And I think, unfortunately, she's going to get left out for the near future. Poi ended up with 9 points, had a very strong run throughout the tournament. Again, I said it all along. She was one of the MVP candidates for me. I thought all her matches were strong. She got wins over Mizumori, Ruaka, Konami, Manami, and had the time to draw with Hazuki. Her only loss was against Maika, and she finished second and advanced. So she had a strong run. The white belt was protected, and she started, like, her style in the tournament was often arm-based. Like, she's decided to become a submission specialist, and I loved it. She was great at it. I loved her intensity in all of her matches. That she's going to bring a lot of emotion and passion to her wrestling, and she just did it in a totally different way, but still brought that Poi edge that we all know and love. A great tournament for Poi. I thought all of her matches were very strong, and I thought the match versus Iwatani was a fantastic match in the quarterfinal as well.
Yeah. No, not to point. Just an amazing wrestler. I totally agree with you. One of the MVP candidates. For me, she is probably the MVP of her block here.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Of block A, Red Stars A. And I think the Maika match on the opening night is one of the strongest matches of the tournament for her. And again, the Helsinki match, as I said earlier. And the quarterfinal with Mayu, very good stuff. So Mayu and Maika, 2 potential challengers for Poi.
That's true. That would be interesting. Wouldn't make any sense storyline wise either of those people, but we'll shelve Maika until Saya for the end.
Maybe Taro Okada isn't a beat the champion in the tournament, get title match kind of booker.
Maybe not. Like, we'll have to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
Red Stars B. We start off with Tom Nakano. She lost all of her matches. The tournament didn't really matter. She got the belt at the end. Her matches in the tournament were pretty good, though. I liked her run, actually. I really liked her match with May Sarah because most of May's matches, when we talk about her, were kind of like all these people wrestling the high-speed style against her. I like that Tom kind of tried to pull her into wrestling a main event style match that nobody else really tried to besides her. Pulled her into the Tom road rather than playing along with her. Her and Azumi had really strong chemistry, and her and Mayu was a strong match as well. So, like, her wrestling was
tournament.
Tom and Mayu?
Yeah, that's still my match of the tournament.
Okay.
Tom, I think her losing every single match might have not made sense storyline wise since she ended up winning the red belt. But she made every single one of the people who beat her look the best they could. And she always wrestled their kind of their style of match. And it was very interesting to see. I think she did, like, it's one of the most interesting runs of the tournament, but it's also one of the most confusing runs of the tournament because of the points part of it and her winning the red belt. But I really liked what she did when she faced the people and what the people that beat her got by beating her.
Well, that's my problem.
I think they got put over.
Well, that's my problem with this too, because unfortunately they pretty much betrayed their own booking by doing it how they did it, to where beating her should have been a like game-changing moment for like multiple wrestlers. But instead, everybody just beat her, and I think it didn't mean that much by the end because it's like everybody beat her ultimately. Yeah. If they had saved it for, like, obviously she could lose to Mayu, maybe she could lose to another wrestler. Just give her 3 losses, and one was really unexpected. That would have meant a lot, and I think just losing to everybody, I think, made it mean less overall. But I mean, it's not her fault. Her wrestling was good, so I'm not really gonna blame her. The red belt match, it was what it was. I thought it sucked. But the tournament matches were all good, though I would say. The thing is, with the Red Stars B, that was the best block. Like all of their matches were good practically.
Yeah.
Like between all 7 of the participants.
I think for the entirety of the Red Stars B, like on the Patreon we did star ratings. I think for the entirety of Red Stars B, like we all had like 3 1/4 or above.
Yeah, exactly. There were really no even below average matches.
Yeah.
Saya Ida finished with 4. She was another one that got the big win over Tom Nakano, as well as the Saya Ida, man. I thought that she wrestled good throughout, as she always does. Tom was the big win. She did get the win at the end over Azumi to kind of points control and set up that 3-way deal. But I thought she wrestled good, played her role well, and really kind of continued her run as kind of a half power, half high speed wrestler.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with that. I think next year, I want to see Saya get kind of the Asumi run this year, where she picks up a lot of points, or what Hanan had this year. I mean, maybe.
Hanan fans too.
Yeah. I just think that Saya next year should be picking up a lot of points.
I think again it's a numbers game sometimes with her. If they did that, it would be good. It's just there's a lot of people that are that you were going to want to have points for next year.
Yeah.
And she always seems like she's always on the short end of the stick, unfortunately. Momo, she had 4. Ed got a match with Mercedes Moné. I don't know if you saw that or not.
No.
It was good. Like I said, she wrestles good at the end, and she wrestled good in the tournament as well. I thought she did a good job in her role. She was the hate member who kind of was like, okay, I'm gonna wrestle better than usual. She's not where she was as a babyface. Right, she's not that good, but she's definitely improved a lot from where she was at first when she joined Oedo Tai. And here I think she found a good balance. She got the win at the end over Tom and Saya Ida to set up the Mercedes match. When she got announced for it, she had been winless. So much like Tom, it's like wins don't matter to get title shots, apparently. But she was a main eventer on that show, too. And it was a really good match. So everybody watch the Mercedes versus Momo Watanabe match. And in addition, I thought Momo's best matches were against Azumi and Mayu as well. I still wish they just eliminate. I wish you just leave the group and be a babyface again. But with what we got, I thought it was a good tournament for Momo.
Yeah, Momo, for me, I thought her matches versus Mayu and Asumi both were really strong. She had a really good start to the tournament. I do not like that they eliminated her just like Tom. That she was eliminated on the same show that Tom was kind of bad, in my opinion. Because okay, you already have eliminated Tom, but you didn't need to eliminate Momo as well, because you take all her threat away on night 4. What the hell?
She was getting a title shot. She had to go, Sondre.
I guess. I guess.
Only losers get title shots in this company. Don't you know that?
Yeah. Uh, when was the Mercedes match?
It was like a day or two ago.
Okay, so it was around when the final happened. Oh,
Yeah,
did but they ended the block before the final. She could
they
have
did.
been still in play on block on the.
Yeah, it was the day before the final.
Yeah.
So really, only a few hours before the final.
Yeah, like
Really.
it just it kind of soured me on the entire thing that Momo also got eliminated really early. Of course, she picked up some points after that, but like
True.
she kind of had a forgettable later half of the tournament because she was no longer in play.
That's true. I mean, in terms of booking, I don't think her future is very bright, to be honest, in this company. But
She is
maybe
the
one day.
goddess of Stardom champion.
That is true, and we'll see how that goes overall. Again, I don't know, like if this Tekla and Momo team is gonna light the world on fire, but maybe it will. I don't know. You know, we can't say one way or the other. Uh, then we got everybody tied with 8. That set up the triple threat. May Sarah first, the high speed champion. She's great.
Yep.
Like I mean I like all of her matches, all the high speed variety. Again, except for the Tom match, I thought they wrestled much more of a main event style than her usual one. But you got to see her bring it out of Mayu. You got to see her have a great match with Azumi. She got to advance, even if it's a convoluted way. She still got a lot of respect in the tournament.
Yeah.
I think the Azumi match was still the best one, though, the singles version.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But I'm really happy with how well they treated May Sarah.
Yeah.
This tournament. I am because in the past the high speed champions have always not gotten that much points. And it's good to see her get a lot of points in the end. Just like Asumi and Inaba. That is one of the strengths of this tournament. I think you kind of hinted at it earlier.
Yeah.
But the elevation of the people who haven't gotten elevated yet.
Especially these three in particular,
Especially
all in the same block.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they did that. What about Inaba's tournament? Another member of this triumvirate. What do you think of her?
we had a running joke of taco protection.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Refused to allow JTO's diamond to do jobs.
Who did she lose against?
In the tournament, she lost against Mayu.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And that's it. Okay.
And then Azumi at the end, like in the dogfight match. She had a double count out versus Azumi and a time limit draw versus May. Yeah.
Okay. No.
One job against Mayu. Taka only can lose to the top star. That was his rules for letting Inaba be in the tournament.
You know what? Another nice thing about this trio?
Yes.
2002.
O2.
All are O2. O2.
Yeah. Like I said, that could be like a future stable if Inaba could she make a jump over.
Inaba Neo Genesis.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think that's what we're saying right now.
And hey, right after this tournament ended, she dropped the Queen of JTO title. So she might be moving away from JTO.
It may be time. I mean, she's got a lot of upside. Like, no matter where she goes, but especially even in Stardom, if she were to be there full time, I think she would be somebody that, brings a unique style amongst these. She's not really as high speed, even though they put her in that match with the two. I think her kick-based offense is very good. I really particularly enjoyed her match versus Saya Ida. Kicks and chops match.
Yeah, that was very good. I let's see. I was a fan of a lot of her matches, but yeah, I think the Saito match is definitely up there. I think I also really enjoyed the Mayu match.
Yeah, that was good.
But yeah, I enjoyed
It
the
was just short.
entirety of the three-way thing in the end.
What about the third member of that triangle, Azumi?
One of my MVP candidates, Asumi. I thought she had a really strong tournament. Finally getting like a tournament where she's not only having good matches, but she's also winning matches, uh, which is very cool. At the start of the tournament, she was kind of the MVP for me because she had the great match versus Momo at the start on the opening night. Then on the following night, she had a one of the best matches of both her and Meisero's tournament in their singles match. And then the Mayu match where she beat Mayu. I was really into this Asumi run. I think the entire tournament was very well done for her. And then you go all the way to the quarterfinals, and she had a really good quarterfinals with Micah.
That's true. Her only loss in the tournament was to Saya Ida at the end. Uh, all of her matches were strong. The match with with Mayu, that was up there to me as one of the best
Yeah.
matches of the whole tournament. I think that she's just
and it's under 10 minutes.
Yeah, and then obviously all of her matches were of that variety.
Yeah.
You know, like none of them went very long. Even the match with Micah was only 11, which is another strong main event match. All of her stuff was strong, and I think she's right up there. Like in terms of talent, she has to be among the best. I would say, and among the most consistent of any of the Stardom players. It's absolutely great that she was able to get points in advance. It was years too late, in my opinion. She should have done it like years ago, been much more focused. But unfortunately, I think that she just fell into a little bit of a trap earlier on in her career, where again the numbers game is a part of it, and I don't think Rossi ever saw her as a big star. But she's gotten a new lifeline this year with a new faction. She's been one of the main players in it. I think they've done some new interesting things with her. And in the tournament, you know she's always going to deliver in the ring. Azumi's awesome. Great wrestler. Yeah. And a great tournament as well. Then you had the winner of the block, the top scorer of the block, Mayu Iwatani, the IWGP Women's Champion. She was constantly one of the favorites to win the tournament. Bowed out at the end against Micah, of course. Her only loss of block play was to Azumi, and I thought it meant a lot. And her wrestling was awesome. Like, I don't think there's any complaints you could have for her in the ring. I thought she did good in all of her matches.
Yeah. It's the thing with, you said it earlier, it's Mayu. Like, everyone expects her to do great, so it's not a shock when she does great.
Absolutely. Like, it's what we all expect from her.
Yeah.
And she delivers once again off the back of her movie this year. She continues
I was really
to be
hoping for that win, man. I was really hoping for her to win. After Tom got eliminated, I was really hoping for the Mayu win.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been an epic win, like a great moment if they had gone that route. But again,
I understand. Like I said it earlier, I understand the Micah, the choice behind Micah. They're trying to create a new star.
Even though she was like top,
but like top level star.
Well, I mean, we'll see how it goes. Micah with her pants. are on top of the block right now in Stardom. For now, we'll see what happens in 2 weeks, how that goes. Mayu was great though. Her best match to me, or my favorite match of hers, they were all really strong. The Poi match was really good. The Azumi match was great. Tom was a good trendsetter for the match, table setter for the tournament. The Momo match was really
good. That's my personal one.
Yeah, she was great in all of them.
Yeah, I would say for me, I was such a big fan of the Tom match, because it's just my two favorite wrestlers in this company wrestling their usual singles match. And but I would say that the Asumi and Mayu match is like probably on my top 3 of the entire tournament. So
yeah.
But who would you say is the MVP of Red B? Red B is the best block, by the way.
Yeah, it was definitely the best block. Like it's not even in question.
Yeah,
I would say there's a big gap between that and the other 3. In terms of MVP, man, it's close. I would say Mayu and Azumi were the top 2 for me.
Yeah.
I probably enjoyed Azumi's run a bit more because her getting the win over Mayu and taking the lead in the block felt like a big moment in the tournament.
Yeah.
They kind of exited out immediately after with her losing to Ida, so they could do the triple threat thing, but it doesn't take away from her story, and the moment in the tournament, I think, was more interesting to me than Mayu.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Like I said, you expect Mayu to be advanced to be one of the top stars. Azumi getting it felt well deserved and a long time coming.
Yeah, probably getting that historic crossover, either with GP title shot.
Yeah, I'm all about it. So then we go to Blue Stars Blue Stars A, excuse me. Miyu Masaki got 3 points. She got the draw versus Starlight. She got the win over Xena to start the tournament off. A lot of short matches to start off. They kind of built to where she had that big match versus Starlight, where she got the draw. Like you said, we both thought that she would eliminate Shuri at the end. It felt like a logical end, but no, she was not the spoiler. Instead, she just went down, pretty simplistically, but still a good tournament for Masaki. Her role is obviously going to be as a lower card player, but they showed her some respect. She got a win and stood toe to toe with Starlight. She wrestled good as well throughout. I thought she did a good job. It was she of everybody. I think she is one. Again, she was so low before, it feels kind of cheating to say this, but she definitely feels like one of the top ones that were elevated in the tournament, in my opinion, from where she was.
Yeah. She sadly didn't have that really, really standout match for me that I was hoping for.
Yeah.
But I think she had a pretty solid tournament. It wasn't anything standout, but it wasn't anything bad either, like some others in this block. But yeah, I would say her best matches her best match is probably the Starlight Kid match for me.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm very glad that they went to a draw with that, establishing some faction some faction balance.
Yeah, that's true. Yep, that's right. Xena comes in at 4 points. Really liked her tournament. I thought she did a good job in her role. She's somebody who, obviously she's just grown and grown as time has went along. We've all said it that her match with Micah was one of the best Micah red belt defenses that she had in her whole title reign. And she continued to be good throughout. She was solid in all of her matches. I thought. Really knows how to play her role in this company really well. Um, if I had to pick one match for her, it would be the Shuri match at the end that I would go with. Um,
Yeah.
it's not that surprising, but I thought her match against Ano was very good as well. Um, I know I like that. That was a show that was definitely highly questionable. The match with Shuri, but I thought she was the best one in it. But her match with Shuri was in the main event in Adion, and I thought it was good. So I liked her. Really big fan of Xena. I hope she continues to wrestle in Stardom and grow even more.
Yeah. No. Hope Mr. Daga treats her well, so that she can keep staying in Japan. No,
Um,
I.
yeah.
That was just a shout out to a joke some a friend of mine made. Yeah, I think Cena keeps with her run in Stardom, because her run in Stardom has been getting better and better, and I felt like her tournament got better and better throughout the tournament. She had a strong end to the tournament with the Shuri match, and then on the next show the Starlight Kid match, which I both thought was really strong. But at the start,
Yep.
she was just like building up.
But they had her in those short matches, remember?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
But it had to be done to put over a Masaki.
Yeah,
To have that short match. Anna Jay being in Stardom also had to be done. And she ended up with 6 points.
yep.
Not really a threat to win, but she was shown respect. She got wins over Ano to start off, Masaki and Koguma. The thing with her is, like, out of everybody, she really had one of the shortest match times. Obviously, like, Kashima was at the bottom with her matches, but besides that, like, all of her matches were that 5-6 minute range. They gave her a little bit more against Xena. That was her only match to go over 10 minutes. I get what they wanted to do. I think they had good intentions with this run for her, both Stardom and AEW. And I know that she's probably got a lot of eyes on her from the AEW side. I don't know how many of their fans came over to watch on Stardom World. If anybody's listening to this that did, or knows somebody that was an AEW fan that tuned in for this, let us know. But it didn't seem like there was a big crossover, at least that I saw, that it really draw.
I from what I saw, the hype died after the first night.
Well, and
Or
the first,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, it was a 5 minute match, like the first night. They didn't really seem to trust her to do a lot. Like,
I wouldn't either.
I mean, she didn't impress. I'm not going to say that she did, but
No.
there was only so much you could have done with some of these matches. But it should have been better. The quality of wrestler in this tournament is at a level to where she stood out. And you would have hoped that this run would have given her a chance to improve. But I don't even think she gained anything from it. And that makes this whole run, I don't want to say pointless, because it was probably cool for her on a personal level. Maybe it'll give her motivation when she gets back to AEW. But I don't think in terms of, like, if you were expecting her to make some big leap, which we saw in Noah with Tavion Heights, he started off struggling. And by the end of the tournament, he was one of the people everybody was talking about most. But the thing is, Anna Jay's not really like, she just didn't show. She didn't have the chances, but she didn't show enough either. There just isn't a lot there as a worker, in my opinion, at this point.
No. I do not see the potential that some people have said in years past that she has. This was the time to show her show it. She didn't. And she didn't, as you said, she didn't really get the chance to either. But it's like AEW has we said it so many times on the Patreon. There are so many better to take over that aren't doing anything if you were going to bring someone in from AEW.
Like I said, I think AEW probably wants like her to be something. Yeah. But again, I just don't know if she gained that much
from
this.
I don't think so either. What was her best match?
Again, like I don't think she had any that were stand out. If I had to pick one, it would probably be the Xena match because that was the longest one. But maybe the Starlight one was pretty good, I would say. I mean, again, pretty good for her. You have to grade on a curve. It is what it is at the end of the day. She just wasn't that good.
I honestly can't remember any of her matches being good or standing out. Like, I just remember every single one being the same. That's maybe on me, but I felt like every match was pretty much similar to the last one for her.
I still thought the Xena match was okay. Shout out Xena. That one, because they worked a basic, underdog story for her. Koguma tied at 6. She was actually kind of alive on the last night, to be honest. Or she could have been alive on the last night, but she lost to Anna Jay, which was heartbreaking for sure. The night before, she got wins over Miyu Amasuki, Shuri, and Sariano. So she got some big wins, but it was more points control Koguma than anything. She played heavily into her comedic shtick. Unlike Mizumori, I don't think she got to show her wrestling chops. But her match with Shuri was really good. Her match with Starlight was also very good as well. When she got the opportunities, she wrestled good, but she was mainly there to be the comedic figure. But it was fun. All of her matches were enjoyable.
Yeah. I think so too. Yeah, I don't really have any Koguma match that really stood out either. I felt like all of them had the same purpose, which is kind of a shame because I felt like the last time she was in, she at least once she showed up and made a point. But here it felt like every match had the same comedy stake. Kind of like Saki Kashima.
Yeah. Again, they repeated it a lot.
Yeah.
But match with Starlight and match with Shuri were both good. I would say. Well worth checking out. But again, she wasn't meant to be a standout player, and she really wasn't. But Ano, one of the people she beat, she played spoiler on the last night to knock her out. Ano finished with 7. She took losses to Anna Jay, Koguma, and had the time limit draw with Starlight. I thought her tournament was kind of disappointing. We talked about it on the Patreon a lot. She's somebody, you see her name value is very high, but I felt like something was constantly missing in a lot of her matches, besides the Starlight Kid match, which I thought was one of the best of the tournament. I would say I thought she really impressed there and showed how her talent level is still very high. But I think in this tournament, maybe it was the block, maybe she just didn't have chemistry with certain people. But I thought that starting off with that short match with Anna Jay really set the table in a not a good way for her. And she never really was able to overcome it that much. But she had some good matches against Xena as well. Another good match with Xena. But I thought the Starlight match was her real standout. Like, that match showed what she brought to the table.
Yeah. There are some. I wish. Are we on Shuri, right?
No, Ano.
Anu, I'm sorry. Anu. The thing with Anu is that I feel like she has been such a mixed wrestler this entire year. Like she showed up sometimes, and then she's like gone back to her normal wrestling, and it's kind of been disappointing this entire year for her, in my opinion. I felt like her Wonder Reign was like good in some parts and bad in other parts, or just normal in other parts. And I felt like that was how her tournament was. It was like really, when it was good, it was really good. But when it was like just normal, it was just normal.
Her white belt run, it was at a bad time in the company with so much, like much like Micah the red belt with all the backstage stuff going on. It was a really bad time, but she definitely wasn't a great white belt champion at all, in my opinion. Very disappointing run in general. This tournament was not bad, but I definitely think there was something missing compared to where she was at last year, where she was like one of the best people
Yeah,
in the tournament.
I agree.
Starlight, big run for her, getting to advance in the tournament, getting up to 8. She bowed out in the quarterfinals to Talsaya. She had the draws versus Ano and Amasaki, and took the loss versus Shuri, her only loss in block play. That was the start of the tournament. I thought she was great in the tournament. Of everybody, I think she might have gained the most. She's finally broke free of the Oedo Tai, heel crap. Like now she's fully allowed to be herself, and we can see what she brings to the table here. The match versus Ano was awesome. I thought that was a great match. The match versus Shuri was a great match as well. Right up there among the best matches. I thought the Ano match was better, even, but the Shuri match was great. She had great, Koguma's best match. Anna Jay had one of her best matches. Amasaki's best match. She wrestled good. The match with Tall Saya was great. I mean, she just was delivering like hit after hit in this tournament. Starlight definitely a strong MVP candidate in my opinion. I thought she not only MVP but also again she gained the most of the tournament in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I have always been very harsh on Starlight Kid, and this tournament definitely was helped her in my eyes. Again, I adore the Saya Komitani match. And most of that is because of Starlight Kid's performance against Saya. I thought that it was such a strong quarterfinals, and her block play was really good as well. I think she is my MVP of her block.
Yeah, she's definitely the MVP for me,
and probably the MVP of the entire Blue Stars.
Yeah. Yeah, in terms of her best match, I think the Ano match for me, but you could say the Tall Saya match as well in the quarterfinal.
Yeah, if I was gonna take the block matches in, yeah, I think the Ano match. Or the Koguma match.
That was good.
Yeah.
Shuri was the leader by tiebreaker in the block, though she did take losses to Ano and Koguma, and then lost to Hanan in the quarterfinal. Much like Mayu, you expect her to be great, and she delivered. Very much a stabilizing force in the block. I thought her match with Starlight was up there for her, but I thought the Zeta match was also good as well.
Yeah.
Koguma was another really strong match for her. And then the match for Hana was good. I think she's another one where, again, your expectations are high, but in terms of consistency, that's what she brought to the table. She was good against everybody, and I thought she had a very strong tournament. Just not memorable because of her already illustrious standards that she's brought in years past.
Yeah. I think that is what I kind of had been stuck on with her tournament. That it's for sure it wasn't the same as previous years for me. Because I felt like none of her matches really stood out compared to even like if you go last year, she had my match of the tournament with Natsupoi. And that match, I still go back and watch to this day. I don't think I'll go back and watch any Shuri matches from this tournament
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah, I get that.
Sadly.
I thought Starlight overshadowed her into her block, I would say.
Yeah.
Finally, Blue Stars B, Rana Yagami, the most inexperienced member of the tournament. I thought, honestly, she was like one of the better people in her block, to be honest, which may say more about the block than her. But I thought she acclimated herself pretty well. This was the worst block to me, pretty clearly, like Blue Stars B. But I thought she did a good job. She got 2 wins. The first one was right off the bat against Kashima. Made perfect sense. And then beat Hanan, which was a pretty major upset, in my opinion. But I thought that she did a good job in all of her matches. None of them were meant to be the show stealers. None of them were great. But she was always early in the card, shorter matches. None of them went 10 minutes. But I thought she did a good job and actually wrestled well in all of them. If I had to pick one, it would probably be the Hanan match just because of the shock win. But it was only like 6, less than 7 minutes.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said.
Tekla, tied at 4, got the tiebreaker win over Rana. She got a win over her as well as a win over Risa Serra by DQ. It was definitely rough sailing, I would say, for Tekla in this tournament. The match with Kamatani got like universal criticism, I would argue. Yeah. But after that, she kind of settled down. Like her match versus Hanan was well done for what it was. The match versus Suzu was another like wild type of match, which I think fits Suzu, and they have good chemistry with each other. The match with Yagami was fine for such a short match. I'm not a fan of the shtick, and that holds her back, but I don't think her wrestling was particularly egregious. And even the Kamatani match, as bad as it was, there was a lot going into that wasn't her fault about that match, whether it was Kamatani, the booking, and everything about it. But definitely not a standout tournament for sure by any stretch. She was one of the lesser people in the tournament overall.
Yeah. She was rough. Yeah. There's another wrestler in this block that I found more disappointing, because I didn't expect anything great from Tekla. And she didn't give me anything good. I don't think I have any matches that really stand out for me with Tekla. All of them just either file into bad or just okay.
Yeah, like I said, it definitely wasn't a standout tournament for Saki Kashima. I mean, she was Saki.
Yep, comedy style.
Yeah, all short matches. Like, they try to go a little longer with Risa Serra. That was a rough match. Rough. Yeah, that was pretty bad. You got what you're gonna get from her. Short matches, and that's all she's really good for at this point. I would say.
The bit got very tiring in the end.
Yeah, it was pretty fun at the start with that. So every match, if you didn't watch it, she had like this board that was a sponsorship deal, like some sort of like what was that, a pachinko company or something?
Something like that.
Yeah. And every time she would like bring it out, and they would do various hijinks in all of her matches with it. But at least, again, at least I like that she tried to do something a little different outside of the match with Hanan, which was straight up her normal style in years past, get the win right away. She at least did something different, but again, it's kind of a one-note gimmick at the end of the day. You can only do so much with it.
Yeah.
Risa Sarah, your favorite with the tournament?
There's a clear problem with Risa Sarah, which makes me a bit sad to criticize her because.
Yeah, I think I know exactly what you're talking about, Sondre, and I totally agree. She did wrestle in Sukuban.
Yes, but it seems like she is dealing with some health problems, and which makes me feel bad for criticizing her.
Meanwhile, she's wrestled like 3 days in a row as we speak.
Yeah, I know, but like when you look at some of the like stuff she did during this tournament, she clearly is dealing with some issues. There was a match in this tournament where she had to go and take a water break 3-4 times.
Well, we know she did because of what happened before the tournament. I think that was at Wave. They had the health issue.
That was actually during the tournament. That was after like
you're right.
2 or something.
Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah.
It makes me feel bad that I'm criticizing her, but then again, she shouldn't be wrestling right now. Or she should only be wrestling in like multi-woman matches.
How many times did I tell you the Pure J champion doesn't take nuts off?
Yeah, I get that.
You don't respect the Pure J openweight title, and that is where you went.
When it leads to these matches, did we really need her?
Well, the thing is,
the one match that she was in the tournament for, the Suzu match, didn't deliver.
I mean, that was it. Like, that was really her whole purpose in this tournament, was to wrestle Suzu and get the win over her. And I mean, she accomplished that. It wasn't a great match by any means, but it might have been her best.
Yeah, it was her best because it was the one match where she put 100% of her effort into it.
What about the match versus Yagami?
Yeah. Like, there was something off with all of her matches, and I feel bad for criticizing it because I am a fan of her, but I just don't think she should have been in this tournament.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. It was just unfortunate with the health scare that she had. It really took it made her tournament kind of a downer. But I wasn't as hard on her as you were throughout the reviews, but it definitely wasn't anything stand out. Maybe if she was in a different block, they could have gotten more. But
she had to be in the same block as Suzu.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I mean, it was kind of hopeless. Like, it's unfortunate. Maybe she'll bounce back at another time, and can do better next time. They did another tie in this block with Hanan and Suzu. Well, since Hanan advanced, let's talk about Suzu first here. Again, we just talked about her wrestling Risa. Now, what do you think of her tournament?
Pretty normal. Not as standout as 2022. Not as standout as 2023, of course, because we won in 2023. But just a normal tournament for Suzu. I think I don't know. It's this block didn't do her any favors.
Yeah.
She kind of had to carry this block, and she didn't really get to have that really, really standout match. Sadly.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think any of her
That she
matches
has
will
had
stand
in
out.
that she has had in years past,
I think her in
especially
general.
2022.
I just think her in general, she's at a real weird point right now. She really feels like she's like lost in the shuffle in this company right now. I don't think she's doing her best work in general. Like, and I don't know what it is or why it's happening.
She found friends, became a TikToker.
That's where it all fell apart. It was when TikTok ruining.
Okay. I have to bring this up.
Go on.
So I made a observation on the final night where Suzu, she used to be an emo teenager lashing out at everyone because her older sister left her in her home. Julia leaving her in Ice Ribbon and Suzu going to become like a deathmatch wrestler. But she has now gone to college, grown up, found friends who are the same age as her, and she has become like a TikTok party girl with Neo Genesis. She's no longer the emo teenager. And after that, I made the comparison that Suzu Suzuki is the wrestling equivalent of an emo band from 2008 who are now just normal dad rock in 2024.
Wow.
I compared her to Asking Alexandria.
Hey, they were. I used one of their songs as my intro, like when I wrestled a prophecy. This was way back in the day. This was the emo era.
Of course.
Yeah, it was very brief. Like it was only like the last month, like when I wrestled there. But whatever.
But have you heard current Asking Alexandria?
Oh yeah.
It's the most radio friendly music you could find.
Well, they changed singers and then went back to the original one. They brought in a new guy to sing when the old guy left, and then they kicked the new guy out to bring the old guy back. And yeah, they're not what they used to be, to say the least. So Suzu Suzuki, the Asking Alexandria, you saw them live.
Yeah, and like they could still play their songs from 2008 really great.
Yeah.
But like all of their new stuff was boring.
Yeah, I figured like his voice might have been like dead at this point. That he can still do that stuff.
It seems like the rest of the band do the scream parts.
Oh, okay. Well, Suzu, not a kind comparison right now for this, but like I said, she's just in a weird spot in general in the company.
Yeah.
And she's another one. Where is she going? I don't really see a path for her to do anything anytime soon, at least as a singles wrestler.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
Yeah, she was all right, but not anything special. Like you said, the block didn't do anyone. Like I said, you can say that about everybody. If you'd moved one of these people into another block, maybe they could have shown out a lot more.
Yeah.
But as it is, it didn't work. Hanan, she advanced, got the big push. I got the double win in the quarterfinals. They've been consistent with her all year, and she wrestled pretty good. Again, the block, you're only going to go do so much, but I thought she did well enough.
Yeah. So just going to say this. She did say in an interview recently that she has felt the pressure of moving up on the card, and during the period of the 5-star GP, she lost 3 kilograms of weight, which is 6.5 pounds US. So
how did you know that?
Because I'm looking at the tweet right now.
Oh, okay.
the translation right now.
Oh.
But she said that she was very nervous of the pressure of being moved up in the card. And you can see in some of her matches that she feels nervous, but she keeps delivering as the wrestler she has always been for me. Where everything every match feels like an evolution of her. And here, even though when she won the Cinderella, she won against people which is kind of her generation, her people who are on her level. Mr. Ray was the finalist, right?
That is
of
true.
The Cinderella.
And now look how far she's come on commentary.
Yeah, well, she's hurt.
Right, unfortunately. Get well soon, Ami Saray.
Yeah. But like here, they have Hanan beating Visa Sarah. They have Hanan beating Shuri. They have Hanan beating Tekla, going to a draw with Suzuki, and then beating Suzuki, the last year's winner. It's very cool that we have reached this point with Hanan. Like you had her going far because of the Cinderella win. I looked at the Cinderella win still with the kind of like, oh, she beat like people kind of her status. At least when I think about the final, I think that way.
She beat Mirai.
Yeah, I know. But Mirai was on her way out.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. Mirai, good business doer.
Yeah. She's not. Mirai was putting over a lot of people on her way out.
Mirai, I mean, she lost to Hana. Who did she put over on the way out besides that?
Let me. Do you want to do? I can check out. But yeah, I was really happy with Hanan's tournament. She is by default the MVP of this block.
It's just, I mean, to me, she's a project. Like, she's going to be one of the top stars. Kind of like destined to be like somebody they go all in on. So
yeah,
I didn't see any reason. I mean, the block was so weak that I didn't see any way that she wasn't going to make it, to be honest. But, you know, they gave her a prime spot, getting the 2 wins on one night. Culminating with beating Shuri, which is right up there as among the biggest wins of her career.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's coming along very well. I wouldn't say she's like. I don't think she's ready to be a champion right now, personally. I think she's got a ways to go, but they're on the right path with her. I thought the Cinderella win was actually a little too early, in my opinion. But, hey, if you're going to push somebody, you might as well push them. And I think they've done a good job to where she's getting where they want her to be. And I don't think, you know, come next year, she may be somebody that's pushing for a final spot if things play out a certain way. It wouldn't surprise me at all. But I definitely think she's very much in the plans to be a top star and not in the too distant future. We're talking about a year or two, I would say. Her time is coming. It just wasn't this year, but they still gave her a great push throughout the tournament. If I had to pick one match that stood out, it would be the Shuri match.
Yeah.
I thought it was very good. Yeah. But the block, like I said, you weren't getting great matches in this block, ultimately. So that leaves us with our final participants. The first one is the loser, Talasaya. She won this block, as it just so happens. Again, very like nobody had a more wider difference between their floor and their ceiling in the tournament than her. Yeah. Because she started off again universally criticized, and by the end, pretty much everybody was now on board with this. I would still describe her personally as a work in progress.
Yes.
Yeah, we weren't really.
Yeah. I'm sorry I had to interrupt. I just wanted to say that I was getting on board. And then the final night happened, and I'm off the board.
Off the board. No love.
Because I felt she reverted back. But
yeah. Yeah, no, it's okay. It just we weren't as in love with the final match. Like a lot of people really loved that final match with Micah. I didn't think it was that great. But I thought when they got to the final part was more her style, I would say, of match, and she could still do that. Like she could do big moves over and over. She hasn't lost that. Some of her heelish tendencies, again, I would say it was a work in progress, but yeah,
Yeah.
But there were some parts of it you liked of hers. You got on board for a little bit.
Yeah, she has one of my top 3 matches of the tournament.
Yeah, against Starlight, right?
Yeah, that's against Starlight. So
Yeah.
yeah, we can talk about that. I guess our favorite matches.
Yeah, it was good. Like I said, that was, I mean, that was a strong match for sure. That's really where it all kind of came together. But I do put a lot of that on Starlight, to be honest, as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, she finished it okay, but it looked like it was going to go just completely off the rails, like the first couple of matches.
Yeah.
But she brought it back around to where, and again, ultimately, much like Hanan, like it or not, she's going to be a project for this company to where she's going to be a main player.
Yeah.
They already proved it by putting her in the final.
She's probably taking over leadership from Tora.
Yeah, a lot of people think that.
In the
Again,
long run.
I hesitate to think about anything that could happen.
Yeah, but like in the long run.
I don't even think, like I said, I don't think you can predict anything in the long run.
Oh,
In this
yeah,
company. I think things could change at any time for anybody. She could be a babyface by the end of this year, in my opinion. It would not shock me. Again, but whatever they do with her, she's going to be a main player. That's the one thing I can say I'm pretty confident about, is that she will get a push for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
And then the winner, Micah. Undefeated. Like you can't listen. Say what you want about this tournament. Say what you want to say about Okada and this company. You cannot accuse this man of not knowing how to push somebody, because he just said, "Look, we want her to win. We're gonna give her all these big wins, and she's just gonna win the tournament."
Yeah, and even if she loses against Tom, they have created a like really big star here.
I don't know about that. Like I said, I think that they give her an accomplishment that she'll always have.
Yeah.
Megastar, I think, is
The megastar, not quite, but they have created a star that will be a big focus kayfabe wise for a lot of people going forward. Like
she'll be a main player.
I can see her being like a shot for Tokyo Sports Joshi Wrestler of the Year.
I mean, maybe.
Kayfabe.
Yeah, I mean, she was the champion for the first half of the year.
Undefeated throughout the entire tournament.
Yep.
I think right now she is the front runner to win the Tokyo Sports Joshi.
Yeah, I can see it. It wouldn't surprise me if Tom got it, but yeah, depending on how things play out, going in there. But yeah, she's going to be a main player, like no doubt. Like push wise, like she's going to be somebody that they clearly see a lot in. And again, I don't hate it. I like her wrestling a lot. I think she was good throughout the tournament. Had a lot of really strong matches and was a great key player in her block. I really have no issues with her at all. I don't mind her being somebody with the roster being how it is now. Like, whatever you want to say, she has been pushed for the whole year. They've been consistent with her and done a good job with her. Again, just in terms of how they utilized her. The look, I definitely am not a big fan of the pants, like the fire pants.
So,
but in terms of her wrestling, I don't think she's lost a step. I thought she was consistent throughout the tournament and somebody that you could put in. A good thing about her, too, is that Micah is the type of wrestler which I think she's kind of like a wrestling chameleon, because she can wrestle a lot of different styles. She's not necessarily a slave to her own stylistic tendencies. She can wrestle different people, whether it's an Azumi, or a Yuna early in the tournament, or a Tall Saya, or an Iwatani, and wrestle bring different parts of herself against any opponent. So I thought she was good in the tournament. I wouldn't say a standout player.
No.
I think they have work to do in terms of her group for sure. And now that Mina's gone, they're going to need somebody running, a sidekick of credible measure. But herself, I have no problem with. It'll be interesting to see where she goes, even though I do think she'll lose to Tom.
Yeah. I just find the surrounding parts, like I find her as a character a bit too bland, and I find her surroundings very bland because they're nothing. Of course, it doesn't help that half of her faction is overseas right now, and then me saying half of her faction implies well, two people, Hanako.
Oh yeah.
But like, I just don't see her as an entertaining storyline wise main eventer. That is always something that I take to heart. It's like, what's the story? And I don't really see the story except for, oh, she never beat Tom for the belt. That's the story. But yeah, I am more okay with her winning now than I was after she won. I was very down on this entire thing when it had just happened. But after sleeping on it, having a day or two to think about it, I'm just okay with it.
Well, the fact that there are title shots happening in 2 weeks and not at the end of the year kind of tells you that she's.
Yeah. I like that a lot, actually. Just for me personally, because that keeps the dream alive for me.
Well, it just tells you. It tells you that they see another match as a bigger plan than her. And then I don't know. Like I said, I wonder about doing this just to have her lose.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it works out. Again, I thought her title reign, quality wise, wasn't that great. But I also think it kind of got over hated on. Like if you look at a lot of the numbers, it's not like they were like that terrible with her or anything like that.
No.
She held things down well enough as champion, and in some really hard times too. She was stuck in a really hard position, being the champion with all the stuff with Rossi and everybody leaving happened.
Yeah.
And she did the best she could with it. So I really respect her for that, and I definitely respect her in-ring game. So we'll see where she goes. I don't see a path for her if she loses to Tom. Like, they're going to, you say what you want about the story. That's their job to create it. It's not, Mike is not the booker of this company. Like, they need to figure out something to do to make her have interesting foils and things like that.
Yeah.
And we'll see what that is exactly. They've not really shown they're capable of that in any way, at least to me, with pretty much anybody in this company, I would argue. But we'll see. Like, there's no real rivalry right now. I'm salivating over it.
Dylan, what was your top 3 matches of the tournament?
There were a lot of matches in the tournament. They all kind of blended in together, to be honest. I'll say this. There was a lot of really good matches. None of these matches would be match of the year level to me. And I think that's one of the things. That's one of the things this tournament really missed. In my opinion. They needed that one. That's what I say about pretty much every tournament. And I think that's one thing you will say. That G1 and the N1 both had that. G1 had a couple of big matches that they could bust at. The N1 had the Oiwa versus Kaito match, which was like match of the year level. The G1 had a couple of really great matches. This one I think peaked at around like 4.25 for me. Like even the top tier matches.
Yeah.
But I thought the Hazuki Mizumori was like my heart favorite, like where one of my favorites of the tournament. I think Ano and Kid was right up there as one of the best matches of the tournament. And I thought Azumi and Mayu would probably be my top three. Though I think about Poi and Mayu is up there as well. I really love that outside of the quarterfinals. So that's my three in the block, and one after the block would probably be my favorites.
Yeah, all of mine. No, except yeah. Okay, so my number one would be Mayu and Tom. That was my match of the tournament. Then it would be Saya versus Saya Komitani versus Stardom Kid. Yeah. And then Asumi versus Mayu.
Yeah, and I think Azumi Mayu would be my number one.
Yeah.
Overall.
But as you said, none of these matches hit the highs that last year's Julia versus Anu or Shuri versus Natsupoi.
Yeah. Yeah, Julia and Anu was my match in the tournament last year.
Yeah. Or if you go back to 2022, Susu and Mirai, which was like one of the best matches of the entire year.
Yeah, that was a match of the year level match.
Yeah,
for sure. And then the ending with Julia and Tom. That.
Yeah.
That was great.
It was definitely a step down this year.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now that you say it, because I said at the start of the show, I thought this tournament was better than last year's, but there were the ceiling was way higher last year than this year. I think this was more enjoyable to watch with the scheduling and things being more interesting and less injuries and things like that. But if you were to make a top 10 of each tournament or even a top 5, last year definitely would be the better tournament. But I think overall, the vibe in this one was better.
Yeah, I agree.
And then going back years past, I don't think there's really a good, they're way ahead where we're at now. Even the year prior.
2022 is still better than both 2023 and 2024 combined.
And even the year before that, with the final night with Shuri versus Hiroha and Shuri versus Momo. Legendary night for Shuri to win. We didn't have anything like that in this tournament.
No.
So they are missing that. But still, though, if you had to pick an overall MVP, who would it be?
I think in the end it would be Asumi for me.
Yeah.
And it really feels like she had a story to tell the entire tournament, and it was her getting to this elevation.
And her beating Mayu to me was one of the best singular wins of the tournament that felt like it meant something, for real. Like, okay, this isn't the Azumi of old. She's in a better spot now than she's been in years past.
Yeah.
So I agree. I think Azumi would be my MVP as well. In that end. And again, good tournament overall. Could have been some things that were done differently and kind of better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And we'll see. Like I said, the story of Maika winning, in my opinion, we'll be able to accurately judge if it was the right call or even a good call by the end of the year. Once the smoke clears and we see where everything plays out, we'll be able to tell it then. But I really enjoyed covering it with you. We have all the shows on the Patreon if you want to hear the block matches. On there, we covered every single match, as is the tradition on the Eastern Lariat. And me personally, I had a lot of great people over the years doing these shows with, and you continue that lineage here today, and it was great. So any final thoughts on Stardom, the 5-star Grand Prix, and where you think things could go from here?
I am interested to see where it goes from here. I think I won't be a big fan if they end up just going with Tom versus Micah again. If they somehow go to time limit draw or something, and they end up having the rematch at Sumo Hall, I would not enjoy that at all. I desperately hope that the end of the year is Mayu versus Tom. But yeah, I am looking forward to see what happens. I don't think I'll be watching the Goddess at all because I don't care about the tag division in this company. Unless it's FWC, I don't really care. And Wing Gory.
We need FWC to get those belts back.
Yeah. But yeah, I've now watched the entirety of the 5-star GP, and I'm going to be watching the entirety of the Dreamstar GP and reviewing it on my show, the Fighting Maricore podcast.
That's right. Your show with Far.
Yes. We recently did a preview and predictions of the entire tournament. And Dylan, this is character development for me. No math problems for me.
Congratulations, my man. I knew you could do it. It only took you 2 years, but you finally did it. Oh, dear.
I had the entire thing perfectly mapped out. No need to change during the...
Good. I'm very proud of you for that. Yeah, I'll probably cover that on the Patreon myself, just soloing things, talk about things at Marigold. Should be a bona fide hoot of a tournament there. Let me ask you this before we briefly touch on that. Shout out to your show with Far. Everybody check that out. Where can they listen to that, by the way?
That you can find on the WrestleCore YouTube channel, or just search Fighting Maricore in Spotify. The entire show is kind of me and Far are two core kids, two hardcore kids, music. So we bring in some hardcore talks at the end of each episode, talking about random bands. So if you like that random Asking Alexandria shout out
yes.
earlier,
burying them.
On the Fighting Maricore podcast, we talk a lot about music at the end of our shows episodes. It's very fun. I buried the hell out of A Day to Remember when we talked about them, because I compared them to Julia earlier.
They lost all their heart for this.
Yep.
Man, listen, when I was back in those days, they were a jam. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I think they were my ringtone. Like back in the flip phone era, I had a song called like "You Be Tails, I'll Be Sonic" was my ringtone back then that they had. But yeah, they've fallen off hard like over the years. Like there's no doubt. What about a band you actually like? Do you have any of those these days?
Yeah. We talked about we talked about some Era, some Kill Switch, Engage.
Oh yeah.
We've talked about some Sevenfold there. We've also talked about some Children of Bottom as well, and we we also have a big focus on what is currently dropping, like the new songs. So we have talked about some of the songs that are new this year, and we even have a Spotify playlist that we update each week.
Oh, cool! That's awesome. But let's not forget, on the Patreon, we started off this tournament coverage talking about Gojira at the Olympics. Remember?
Yes.
There. Yes, a banger band as well.
And that song is now out as a single.
Yeah, see, look at that. Who is the ray gun of the 5-star Grand Prix?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, like I said, who embarrassed the disgraced wrestling with their? I mean, didn't she like nearly get breakdancing like banned in Australia or something? Like her performance was so bad. All her stuff, you've got it bad when they delete your stuff forever. You can't even find that performance. They deleted it off all the Peacock replays. You can't even look it up on YouTube. It's like everything got taken down. It was like if AEW could copyright strike you there level. There were no
Yeah.
wrestlers that bad in this tournament. Like no matter what you want to say, overall. But yeah. One thing though, what if it turned out, we went on this huge tangent here. I wasn't expecting it, but that's okay. I like talking about random things. What if it turned out that you were there and it was Tom versus Poi, and that was for all the gold because they could be both champions.
I would be okay with that. I would like
That
that.
has a story, could be a
Yeah.
great match. But if
Oh,
that
yeah.
happened, you would see Poi win probably though. Like
Yeah,
that
that's
was
the problem.
yeah. You don't want that. You want Tom.
No, I want to be there for Tom beating Mayu.
Well, remember what I said? They need to break out the Cody level fireworks if she wins for you
Yeah.
outside of the stadium. You were there at All In last year when Ospreay had his big entrance, and you were in the bathroom when they shot off all those fireworks.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you for exposing me as an Osprey hater.
It's okay. Look who you're talking to. This is fun, right? But that entrance was really good, though. You did kind of miss out. But you were there for Jericho singing, though.
No, I was still.
Oh, you were still in the bathroom for that.
Dude, Jericho was the one who came out first.
Oh, you see, that's why you missed Ospreay's entrance.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Tough times. Tough times in AEW last year for sure. But this year we got Bryan Danielson winning the title. A lot better. I wish you were there for that instead of last year.
I don't know. Yeah, sure. The rest of the card wasn't that great.
Yeah, well, let's not talk about that. We're talking about Bryan Danielson, Sondre, out there. Like, so there's a lot of ray guns in AEW.
I'll be speaking of AEW. I'll be going to the Tokyo Dome show. So.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you'll be there for that too. On there. So, we will give you. You will see Anna Jay in person. What if she listens?
No.
I want you to, Anna, if you're listening, confront this man. Confront him and let him know what you think of him being mean to you out here.
I'll probably go to some indie show, so I'll miss her match since she's probably going to be in the dark match.
It's going to be even worse. You're not just going to the bathroom. You're leaving the whole show to go to an indie
No. I come when her match has already happened. You know.
Okay. All right.
Because I yeah.
Everybody listen to Dramatic Dream Dragons too.
We're dropping an episode soon.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna record very soon. So we're dropping very soon. It will be a lot of fun, a lot of weird stuff going on in DDT as usual. Even
and
more
Dragon Gate's upcoming this Friday.
Not weird.
Corrigan.
And Dragon Gate, just normal Dragon Gate stuff, but could be good. But yeah, we'll talk about that on the other show. Follow us on Twitter at Eastern Lariat, Instagram at Eastern Lariat, YouTube Eastern Lariat. It's all there. Check us out on Cage Match. Thank you to all the inmates who review the shows, especially the Stardom shows. It's easy to talk about the big companies like New Japan and all that stuff. But I really appreciate everybody who reviews like Noah, All Japan, Stardom, even DDT and Dragon Gate. We really appreciate all the companies, all the fans out there with their opinions. Really love to see it on there. Check me out at Viva_0. Check him out at Sondre Bjorn. But check out Striga too, at Striga, obviously. But you know him. He'll be back again on the next episode. We're going to talk about all kinds of fun stuff going on in Japanese wrestling. It's so good to be back. We took that little time off during the G1. He was on vacation. I was going through hell and back in my life and still am, but it's okay. Nothing can stop me from being here for all the fans out there, because most importantly, I love you. And until next time, sayonara.
救われ